All right. Ugh, okay. So apparently Twitch TV doesn't save videos that are longer than a week or 2 weeks old or something, and it just deletes them. So um, I had two recaps, kind of looking at the bosses that we'd done, and they've been deleted. And I thought it might be useful just to go through the whole thing and hopefully just put out a bit of a guide for the whole thing, especially in terms of tanking from their point of view. I'll try and throw out some guides for that. Right, so this is first trash here. One tank tanks everything, while the other tank should pick up this big mob, but the other tank wasn't there yet. Pretty easy to do. Um, so in this trash, you need to pull them separately. Pull one, nuke him down. Once he's dead, pull the other, nuke him down. This is the first time we saw it, so we kind of died a lot there. But once that's done, the mobs down here are exactly the same. Pretty easy. Oh my god, how long did it take us to do the freaking trash? Alright, okay, so this is us getting to go on the boss, right? So if I quickly just skip ahead here, okay, so what you'll see here is you get 3 of these Stone Guardians out every week. It's a different 3 every week, but it'll be the same 3 until the end of the week. So if you keep trying against them, you'll eventually hopefully get it. So what you need to do is one of the tanks needs to pick up 2 of the bosses. If you tank them all together like this, they'll all be getting charges, and eventually they'll all have too many charges and one will explode when it's not meant to. The idea on this boss is one of the bosses is casting a nasty thing called petrification. When this finishes, you'll get frozen in place. Um, so if you fuck up the boss colossally, you'll get frozen. GG. If you the idea is, in order to break this, you need to be hit by the boss's overload. And in order for the boss to overload, you need to get him to 100 energy. So you'll see there, that's the explosion gone. We lose our stacks of petrification. This bar disappears, and then another boss starts charging within a few seconds. You can tell which one's charging by this beautiful big ring around it, and the color of the bar in the middle. So the cobalt one's charging here. So I taunt him over. And he'll gain energy until he explodes. The way the bosses gain energy is if you have them within 10 yards of each other every second, they'll gain 1 energy. Um, if they get 100 energy and they're not the one casting petrification, it's a wipe. It is a raid wipe. You should never ever have that. Um, so avoid that. So what we did, or what I did, well, yeah, what we did, I tanked the 2. I'd always be tanking one that was charging. Unfortunately, this time it was the wrong one, so this probably will go tits up. And then what I'll be doing is when I'm getting ready to taunt this one, I'll be saying, okay, get ready to taunt purple one. And if it's the purple one that's charging, I'll say, okay, never mind, stop, just wait. And if it isn't the purple one charging, I'll go, okay, taunt. We switch. I'll pick up this one, he'll pick up this one, and then the bar in the middle will start charging, and you've got the right one. And as far as tanking concerned, that's it. Don't stand in these big, obvious purple AoEs. Don't stand in these big blue crystals. When you get this big bar in the middle, the reason the overloads don't wipe you is so here, oh god, that's a wipe right there because he exploded, whereas it should be this guy who needs to. So when you get this purple, this bar in the middle, whatever color it is, you get like 90% reduced damage taken from that particular guardian. So if it's the purple one charging, you take 90% reduced damage from these circles. If it's the blue one, you take 90% reduced damage from these mines. So if it's the blue one charging, you can have a couple of DPS, just trigger a couple of these, clear the room up a bit. Purple ones, it means it's not so necessary to run out of this straight away, but do anyway, because it's unnecessary damage that the healers need to heal through. And the important one wasn't up this week, and actually I might be able to point it out in a different one. Actually, we'll just pause that there quick, and I'll open up the other one. There we go. And so you'll see here we got a different setup. So this, yeah, the Jade Guardian was up this week. So what you'll see, hopefully, and I've marked him wrong. He's green there. It's meant to be this color, but anyway, you'll see these chains between people. If you get the chains, uh, when it's the right color, you spread out. Basically, what happens is for every second you spread out, you take stack in debuff that ticks. Um, and if you're apart for like more than 10 seconds, it's doing a shitload of damage, unless it's the right color who's charging, in which case you spread out and you get rid of it, because it needs to tick 15 times for you to get rid of it. So either you just stick together the whole time, so if it's 2 melee, good. If it's 2 healers, good. If it's a range and a melee, however, there's not great. That's a pain in the ass. So just range has to stick with a melee until the right one is charging, which is the Jade, I do believe. And once he's charging, you spread out, get rid of the ticks, and then move on. It does hurt though, so try not to, well actually no, during that time you need to do it. Just get rid of them, sweet. Healers, be aware of that. Okay, so I'll go back to, this is the Stone Guardians one, I'll get rid of that. So unfortunately, the next boss I was getting DC'd on, and I think it was because of the stream, so I stopped streaming, but Feng the Accursed is the second boss, and in this, 2 buffs appear. They'll appear in a second when we pull the boss. One appears floating here, I think that's the Shroud of Reversal, and one appears here, Nullification Barrier. The tanks pick these up, and you need to do certain things in the fight in order to minimize the damage taken by the raid. So, Shroud of Reversal, you channel it on a person who's about to take a magical ability. When it hits them, you gain the spell. So here they are. Here's one that glitches out and I can't click it. This is the one I'm going to be taking. It's the Nullification Barrier. And what the Nullification Barrier does is every 55 seconds you have a 5-second channel where you get this big blue circle around you. Anyone in it is immune to magical damage for the duration that it's up. So basically what happens on this boss is every minute he casts a big, huge ability that fucks the raid. In the first bit, it's a thing called Epicenter. Here it is. So I'm not, I don't think I, oh yeah, I am going to try to reversal it, but I'm really slow. I'm not sure I reversal, Nullification Barrier. Okay, that's a wipe grade. But yeah, basically I'm meant to be pushing this, and then everyone's in a lovely circle, and no one dies. Um, and that's the first ability. In the second phase, it's a thing called Draw Flame. He randomly casts on a random member, apart from tanks. It can be melee, healers, or DPS. They get this thing called something Spark or Fire, something or other. And basically, at the end of the duration, some fire that moves around and is alive appears, and it's a pain in the ass. It's really horrible. Oh, there you go. So I've got the right buff now. This is the Nullification Barrier. And what happens is during that, the fire, you drop it out of the raid, and then every minute the boss will cast a thing called Draw Flame. He sucks in all the fire, and he gets buffs for every fire he sucks in. Which is why you need to drop it away from the raid, because if it hits the raid, it spreads, and it does damage, which is horrible. So basically what you need to do is you cast your immunity on the boss to negate him getting the stacks. I usually let the first one go through, because he gets less stacks. And then the second one's usually the first one's maybe about 12 stacks, second one's about 20, 24. And so I negate it, and then you just carry on as usual. The last phase, and I don't think I have any recordings of it, is a thing called Arcane Velocity. And basically you take more damage the further away you are from the boss. So you will stack up on the boss, either you heal through it, or every other one you do this. So it happens every 30 seconds he does it. So every minute the tank has to negate it with Nullification Barrier, and every other one the healers have to heal through it, basically. In the last phase, there's a thing called Arcane Resonance or something, and it's a debuff, and it does damage to everyone around you. and for every person it does damage to, it does extra damage for that. So if you stood up in the raid, stacked up, healing through it, you will wipe the raid. So when you stack up in the middle, whoever has Arcane Resonance doesn't stack up. It's like a 6-yard range. It's not a massive issue. Um, and then so that's pretty much the fight. So long as you nullify one of every second um, big ability that's horrible, you can get through the boss. A little trick we learned later on was during this first phase, the other tank who's got the Shroud of Reversal can steal Lightning Fist. He does a thing called Lightning Fist and it will stun people. So this is the ability. It's like a lightning thing that goes out and it stuns everyone, does a bunch of damage. It's really nasty. You don't want to get hit by it. Um, and when he casts it on me, the other tank will channel on me his Shroud of Reversal, and I'll get hit by the Lightning Fist, and he'll get Lightning Fist, the ability. So when he casts Epicenter, he can use Lightning Fist and interrupt it. This means the first phase becomes very trivial and absolutely faithful. Um, so that's the second boss, pretty much. Just stack up, heal through one of every other big ability during the phase. You might want to get a healer cooldown rotation, so Tranquility for one, Healing Tide for another, Mastery for another, and then just rotate those. Shouldn't get many more than 4, I would have said, every phase. There you go, Lightning Fist. So that's what, if he saved it a little bit later and interrupted this, I wouldn't have had to nullify that, and I could nullify the next one. Okay, I don't know if here we go, we got Draw Flame as well. So, okay, so here he is. I've got this notification barrier here, and he's about to draw these flames in. So we've been dropping them outside the raid, and he'll channel a thing called Draw Flame, and he'll suck them in. You'll get stacks, and every time he hits you as the tank, he does a bunch of raid damage. I actually use this phase to pop my Savage Defense dodge cooldown, because if he doesn't hit you, he doesn't do raid damage. So it staggers the raid damage a bit. So right there, you'll see I actually negated his stacks. So if we just double check, yeah, here we go. So he's going to draw flame in a second, and I'll run into him, hit this, so that all the fire that he draws gets negated. So here we are. Fire goes into him, and he doesn't get any stacks because I'm stacked on him, nullifying it. However, the next one, he does get stacks, and you can see the raid health just yo-yoing because of how much damage he's put out in that phase. It's pretty nasty. Right. And the last phase, as I say, you stack up on the boss. We did a stack loose thing, so we have this thing called spread close, where we're all as close as we can to be the boss, but we're also 6 yards apart from each other. It's probably the best way of doing it. And then when he casts Arcane Velocity, you'll stack up. When he casts Arcane Resonance, that person moves away. It's not that hard to do. Okay, so let's have a look at Garajal. So what happens on this boss is that there's 2 kind of phases here. You got this normal phase that you see in front of me, and then the spirit phase. What he'll do is every, I don't know, minute or so, he drops one of these spirits. Probably 30 seconds. He drops one of these spirit totems. When you kill the spirit totem, everyone who's around it gets teleported into the spirit realm. In the spirit realm, you need to kill as many of the ads as possible, because you can only hit them in the spirit realm, and over the course of the fight, they build up, and by the end of the fight, they're doing a shitload of damage. So the best way of dealing with this is to send in your DPS into the spirit world and kill them as fast as possible. Because if you're in the spirit world for more than 30 seconds, you instantly die. To get out of the spirit world, you need to be healed to 100%. So in order to do this, you always send 1 healer and 2 DPS in the spirit world. The thing about the spirit world is, while you're in it, every heal you receive increases your capability of performing a role. So for Shadow Priest, you gain a bunch of haste, crit, and mastery, and you just do shitloads of damage and it stacks up for the amount of heals you get. I think it's based on the amount of healing you receive, not the amount of heals. If that makes sense. So use your big heals for it. I'm still haven't got that confirmed because we haven't really tested it much. We just try and get through it. Oh yeah, and that's the point to make. When you go into the spirit realm, you reduce like 20% of your HP, which makes the healing process a little bit more difficult, and that's why you need to send a healer in. Right. So Once you've at full health, there's a button that appears in the middle of the screen. You click it, you return to this realm, you do the boss.